everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I'm so glad you're here hanging out with me and we're talking about neat design things. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I came up with the measurements that I suggested for, how low to hang a chandelier above a dining room table. And I love talking about, the design process and like how, an interior designer gets to a point where, she or he says, okay, how about this amount of, inches above a dining room table and how you got there. And so I'm excited to kind of share, the behind the scenes process about that. So if you're interested in kind of, the behind the scenes stuff about design and from an artist and interior designer, then stick around because that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So to think about, how far above a table to hang a chandelier, you want to think of a number of different things. And first of all is, keeping in mind, what is the purpose of this area? So, it's a dining room area. There's already a table. You already have a chandelier. And it's in a specific area or room. And there's a size of the chandelier and there's a size of the table. And that's not what we're kind of talking about. All that stuff is already planned out already. And so what we want to know is, the electrician is there and, how high above a table should we hang that chandelier? And, really basic things about making sure that there is plenty of room so when everyone's sitting at the table that they can see each other at the table and the chandelier or the light fixture isn't blocking their view. Or if you want to put a centerpiece or a vase of flowers, anything like that on the table, or candles, anything like that, keeping all that stuff in mind when you're kind of thinking about, that measurement. And then after, kind of thinking about that and just kind of an average person, what would be comfortable? And so what I did is I actually went to my dining room table and looked at the dining room fixture that we have and just used a tape measure to kind of measure okay, what would be, a good height for someone who's an average height sitting at that table, and it wouldn't block their view and it would look and feel connected to the dining room table. And so that's where I came up with my measurements. And those measurements, if you watch that video, and I'll put the link in this description, I gave you a range. I gave everyone a range of measurements. And that way, it's up to you, looking at your space and the size of your chandelier or light fixture and your table, it's going to vary a little bit. And, who's in that family and, how tall are they, things like that, keeping those things in mind. And so my range was just kind of for an average height and still having plenty of room for people to see each other and for, centerpieces or anything else on the table. And what I always think is important, the light fixture, the chandelier or pendant light, whatever it is you have over your table, it's part of something. It's not an isolated piece. It's part of your whole dining room or dining area experience. And so I'm a really big advocate about making sure that everything in your home, your apartment, wherever you live, all of your pieces, your furniture, your accessories, your artwork, lighting, everything like that is connected in some way. There's this cohesive, relatable feel to everything. In my video where I gave you the dimensions of, the chandelier height, I give examples of, when you see a great dining table and then there's a beautiful light fixture above it, there's all this space in between the two different things. It doesn't create a harmonious look, and there's a disconnect, and there's two different things going on, and your eye looks up to see the chandelier and then looks down at the table. And yes, we know that, it's right, it's probably centered above the table, but there's no connection there. When you're doing interior design, you want to have things feel connected. That's what a designer does, is they, in addition to so many different things, but they want to create, a look and feel that feels connected, that there's a purpose, that there's, a reason behind everything. And that creates a harmonious look, a beautiful look. When, your artwork is close enough to the sofa so it relates to your whole seating area, or your chandelier is close enough to your table so it feels a part of that whole area. So when you're sitting there, you get to enjoy the chandelier. Maybe you get to have a little bit more light, unless, if you had it higher, you would have less light, but at least you get to enjoy it a little bit more. And, your dining room fixture, right, is always, a part of your home, a part of your apartment, a part of your home. So whenever you move out of there, most likely it'll stay there. And it really is specific, to your space. And I always think of, people saying, well, I'm going to bump my head into the light fixture. Well, really, is that going to happen very often? I mean, if you're sitting at the table, maybe you have to jump up and, grab something from your baby across the way to, get their bottle before it falls or something. But is that really going to be happening all of the time? And, sometimes you use a dining room area or a dining table for different purposes. Maybe you're going to have a buffet and you move out all the chairs and everyone, walks around, but you're not, necessarily asking people to go underneath the light fixture to grab things on the other side. They're going to go on the other side or walk around, or even when you're doing other activities on there, making sure we're not talking about having the light fixture so low that you can't see each other. Plus, you're bumping into it all the time. No, that's not what we're talking about. I mean, as designers, we want things to work. There's always a reason why designers do things, and to plan things out, and to make, take measurements, and, take all this time to plan things out. So that way things work together. And then that's where, a designer can, add in their style and have some creativity, and not go by set rules, but just have some guidelines. So it's kind of a framework so that they can, add their own style. And of course, whoever lives there, their style to whatever it is they're designing for them. So I hope that you found this kind of interesting, and I'd love to hear your opinion, your ideas, on what you consider helpful to hang a chandelier above a table. Maybe you're a designer, maybe these are refreshers for you to share this information with your clients and say, look, this is, you need to have it low enough so everything feels part of the furniture arrangement, part of the dining experience. And it's not too low, but it's just right. And, figuring that out. Or maybe you're someone new to design and you just love interior design and learning about the behind the scenes stuff. I hope you found this helpful. And, if you have any other ideas, share those in the comments with everybody. I'd love to hear what you think about the whole thing. And I hope you found it interesting. Take care.
So a fun exercise that you can do after watching this video, and you can think of it as your little assignment, is to sit down at your dining room table and take a ruler or a tape measure and measure, from the table to the top of your head and a little higher, and come up with your recommendations, your measurements that you think would be good for the height of a chandelier or a hanging pendant above that table that would feel comfortable to you. And then share your suggestions in the comments, and we can see, what everyone came up with and what your recommendations are.